A very rare celestial event of the decade happened just recently. The ExoMars orbital spacecraft, Trace Gas Orbiter, and Mars Express are recording the passage of the interstellar Comet 3I Atlas, a mysterious visitor traveling from the depths of the galaxy. The strange thing is that this is the first interstellar object observed so close to Mars. The minimum distance between it and the orbital spacecraft was approximately 30 million kilometers. The distance is enormous by Earth's standards, but it's almost next door when you look at it from a cosmic perspective. The Cassis camera on ExoMars was usually intended for capturing the planet's surface and unusual, rare atmospheric phenomena. For the first time in a long while, it was switched to a different schedule, so to speak, a special mode. The goal is something almost unnoticeable. But 3I turned out to be tens of thousands of times dimmer than what was expected from standard and familiar objects that this device usually works with in its normal mode. Simply put, in order to detect it, scientists and engineers increase the exposure time. Photographers, I hope, will understand what I'm talking about. At the same time, the duration was approximately about 5 seconds. Later, they managed to make a collage and put together a series of incredible shots that previously seemed completely unreal. Later, they managed to combine them into a single image. The result is a tiny white dot in the background, visible in the cosmic darkness. But it is this dot that became the so-called window into the abyss of the vast universe. Later, when they began processing the data, they suddenly managed to distinguish a faint glow around the core, the so-called gas and dust halo. It could have formed when ordinary volatile substances began to evaporate, later also under natural solar radiation. It stretched to an astonishing scale, thousands and thousands of kilometers. The strange thing was that a distinct tail never appeared. Most likely, the comet is too far from the sun, or perhaps it has a different structure, a denser structure than previously thought, as well as volatile elements on the outside. Some experts in the scientific community began to put forward theories and suggested that its surface might even contain metallic or composite materials, since the light reflection is too uniform. As if in the photos and videos before us, we don't see a chaotic mess of dust, but clear engineering geometry. That's actually how the theories were born, as if this is a possible object with strange behavior, an object of artificial origin. It's a breathtaking sight. Martian eyes. From perseverance to curiosity. While ExoMars tirelessly delighted us from orbit, the rover wasn't idle. Perseverance pointed its sharp cameras at the sky. And at one moment in one of the images, a comet appeared, like an elongated cylinder. It looked very much like a silvery arrow piercing the airless darkness. That's when it all started. The internet practically exploded with debates. Is it a ship, a probe, an artifact? What is it? Later, analysis showed that the elongated shape is just, as mentioned earlier in other videos, an effect of motion during a long exposure. At that moment, the rover's camera captures light with a resolution of about 12.5 kilometers per pixel. Accordingly, at a distance of tens of millions of kilometers to such an object, This means that even the slightest movement or shift starts turning such a luminous point into a very long trail. From here, and the illusion created by physics. After that, curiosity tried to repeat the same observations, but most likely by that time, the comet was too dim for its camera. Later on, the cameras optimized for surface imaging couldn't catch the tiny glow. However, the Chinese orbital probe Zhuzhum, despite not having specialized telescopes, tried to do something similar and transmitted valuable data about the atmosphere and illumination. They will help calibrate future observations. ExoMars and Mars Express are at the limits of their capabilities. The second Mars Express mission has a slightly shorter exposure, literally just half a second shorter. And it also recorded a strong signal. Scientists started collecting series of images to extract even the faintest glow in the pictures, using a huge accumulation of data. In addition, the Omega, SPICOM, and Comet spectrometers, which were originally designed to analyze the Martian atmosphere, were reconfigured to search for the same light spectrum, reflected by 3I Atlas. If these missions manage to detect spectral lines of carbon dioxide, water, or carbon, it will be a breakthrough and confirm the activity of the nucleus. Although for now the comet remains dim and not as visible as we would like. The very fact is that to observe such faint glow of an object from the orbit of another planet already directly points to an engineering feat. This is a test of the limits of advanced technology and engineering skill, and overall, it's proof that our instruments are capable of much more than was intended when they were created. Interstellar dust and rumors of intelligence. Scientists rather cautiously remind us that even the strangest properties found in such objects may have a simple and natural explanation from a scientific point of view. It lost its volatiles. After wandering for millions of years, its surface could easily have become covered with what's called a crust of dust and microglass, which would significantly increase its reflectivity in a very striking way. That's the conclusion. This is the effect of solar pressure. Perhaps it's the future result of the object's large mass and sail area. Perhaps the mystery leaves no chance. And yet the uniform shine, stable brightness, and unusually precise trajectory in space, these details themselves directly lead to thoughts that capture the imagination of humanity. Among enthusiasts, such an idea is starting to surface again. What if it's not a comet? What if it's an artificial probe created by someone or something, coming from the depths of distant space? A simple silent observer remaining in orbit for just a moment to look at Mars and us. For now, science remains silent, but the question hangs in the air like a quiet signal from the past, like the echo of wow. For now, the comet is too dim to talk about radio signals or chemical analysis. International cooperation is now a model for future interplanetary ventures. What will happen next? New observations are scheduled for November using the GUIC spacecraft, which is near Jupiter. By that time, it will approach the sun, evaporation will intensify, and that's when a real tail will appear, not just an optical one. And if everything goes according to plan, by February, Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer will send new, unique images unlike anything seen before. New questions will also arise. It was exactly objects like 3I Atlas that led to the creation of the European Comet interceptor mission, which is scheduled to launch in 2029. This spacecraft will wait at Lagrange point L2, and when a new interstellar visitor appears, it will be able to quickly head toward it to meet it face to face. Between the coldness of science and the breath of wonders, every time an interstellar comet approaches, it's like a letter from a distant time, like a speck of dust that survived the birth of faraway, beautiful, and mysterious stars. Immediately in its structure, there are formulas of other worlds. In its glow, there is a great echo of ancient, excessive processes never seen before.